Oh, hello, YouTube. I don't know if you can see, but I have a very special guest today on the video. It's Batman. Anyway, today, oh boy, I'm doing it, guys. I'm gonna do Breaking Dawn. I'm not necessarily feeling amazing about my life choices right now, but here we are. This is 750 pages. Like, the idea of having to read basically 2 books this weekend and their Twilight is a lot right now. But the only way through it is to do it. So here I am, reading the magnum opus of failed endings. I'll check back in after I finish book 1. I think I'm just gonna do all of book 1. I'm gonna chug through it and then I'll check back in and I will see how much my brain has melted. All right, I'm back. I finished book 1. Luckily, it's fairly short. It was like 138 pages, so I whipped through it. Okay, so Bella and Edward, right? They get married. It's a whole big affair. It's a beautiful wedding, whatever, what have you. Jacob even turns back into a person for a hot minute and comes to see Bella because, they are still best friends even though there's all of the fucking drama in the world between them. However, he's at her wedding. So this goes about as well as you think it's going to go. Which is immediately bad. He figures out that Edward and Bella are going to have sex. And he loses his mind. Jacob's I'm gonna turn into a wolf and I'm gonna eat people. Luckily there's other wolfy brethren there who can pull him away because fucking yikes, dude. And frankly, Bella wanting to have sex with her now husband at 18 years old is the most normal thing going on in this whole book. And it's the weirdest thing that's happening so far. I don't know how they did it. But luckily, Bella gets her wish. They're on their honeymoon. They have a private island because of fucking course they do, right? And they have all of the sex, right? And Edward, of course, he's just going to find new and creative ways to brood about things. Because the morning after, Bella has bruises, and I understand him being upset that he gave her bruises. He doesn't want to hurt her. Totally understand that, and your feelings are valid. As an adult woman, sometimes you get bruises if you really had a good time, am I right? So I don't know, I get it, Edward's feelings are valid, but not to the point he took it, because he's I'm going to murder you, I'm upset, I'm gonna go walk out into the sun if that was something that would kill me. He's really overreacting about it, because Bella's bro, I'm fine. They're just a couple bruises. And then to top things off, he just refuses to have sex with her anymore. And Bella's are you fucking kidding me? I just got the D and you've already taken it away. But, Bella's 18. Edward is physically 17. Mentally, he's 100 and something. So, I mean, at this point, I don't think he's all that hard to seduce. She does manage to, seduce Edward long enough for him to pull his head out of his own ass. And they have more sex. And I think they figure out how to do it safely. There's a lot of casualties that aren't Bella. They break a lot of beds. And then here's the thing. They figured out how to have sex safely, right? But not have safe sex because Bella totally knocked up immediately. And then the body horror starts because she could already feel this little thing wiggling around in her and it's been 2 weeks. And, Edward, of course, is oh my God, I didn't know I could knock you up to start with. Second of all, don't worry, I'll call Carlisle. We're getting that thing the fuck out of you. And Bella, she's yeah, I know my life is probably going to be in danger, but I still want to keep the baby. Which is, surprisingly, this whole book is very pro-choice, even though Bella is choosing to keep the baby. No one would have said anything if she chose not to keep the baby. I'm astonished because I know Stephenie Meyer's very Mormon. And you know what? I'm just going to say something right now, little controversial, okay? The whole Bella's pregnancy thing doesn't necessarily bother me in this storyline. I know, everyone hates it. They think it's stupid. But frankly, it's a natural progression of a married couple. In a lot of instances, you have a child. And let's be real, Edward and Bella's relationship has been on the fast track since the beginning. This just makes sense for how everything's been with them. Okay, I think I have enough in me to read book 2 of this. And it's Jacob's POV. And you know what? We haven't had a single other POV character at all, and I don't really remember much of Jacob's POV sections in this book, surprisingly. So let's go, Teen Wolf. I'm down. Let's do book 2, and I'll check back in. All right. I have finished book 2. Surprisingly, I don't mind Jacob's POV, actually. I'm just going to say that to start with, because he's actually kind of like fun and acerbic and sarcastic. And I wish I would have gotten this sooner in the series, because he's actually kind of fun to read from. And so the wolf pack, right? They all get the news, hey, Bella's back from her honeymoon, and she has contracted a mysterious illness type of a thing. And Jacob, he loses his fucking shit. He's like, they're gonna kill her. I don't know, maybe she didn't turn into a vampire right. I've had it. I'm gonna go start killing Cullens. He's freaking out about it, even though he knew this was gonna happen eventually. And Sam is like, bro, fucking chill. Like, we all knew this was gonna happen already. But no. Jacob, he's in a killing mood and you can't tell him nothing. So like I'm gonna turn into a wolf dramatically and run over to the Cullens' house. What he finds there literally is the last thing he ever would have thought of, which is Bella super ass pregnant with Rosalie of all people as her bodyguard. So the thing about Bella's pregnancy here is that she looks like fucking shit. This pregnancy and her body, not super compatible, okay? She looks awful, dude. Like, he got there and he's like, oh my God. Like, I wish you were a vampire instead. And I don't think I would have ever said that. And after seeing Bella, even Jacob's on the get that thing out of Bella team. Like, he and Edward, they're actually on the same page for once. So Edward, obviously, he's desperate to save Bella. And Edward starts coming up with a plan. He's like, okay, I've got to get this baby out of her. Jacob, hear me out. Okay, this could sound wild, but like, Bella is a sex maniac, and I can't have sex with her as much as she wants. And then she wanted a baby, apparently, and I didn't know that, but like, I'm finding it out now. So like, maybe we can like convince her to do that with you, because you're safer to have sex with her and make babies with. Which is like the most absurd response to this that he could have ever come up with. Like, and I get it, like, no one's really thinking rationally right now, but like, what the actual fuck? He's like, please, fuck Bella for me. You fucking can't. And then things get even worse, because the wolf pack, they find out that Bella is pregnant and they're like, oh, I didn't sign on for vampire babies. This isn't cool. We're going full commando mode. We're gonna kill the baby. Bella along with it. Sorry, Jacob, them's the shakes. And honestly, it should be the first thing everyone in that wolf pack knows, that Jacob, regardless of the sex predator behavior from the previous book, he would never, ever, ever let something bad happen to Bella, because he's still in love with her. So Jacob, he's like, Sam, I know you're the alpha of the wolf pack. You're my brother. I love you. But like, seriously, go fuck yourself. I'm not letting this happen. You know what? Fuck it. I'm making my own wolf pack. I'm an alpha now too. Suck it. And then other people leave the pack for Jacob's pack. So now there's 2 wolf packs, and it's Seth and Leah Clearwater. And you know what? I love Seth Clearwater. He is like the sweetest sunshine boy ever. I love him. However, Leah gets done fucking dirty in this manuscript, because like, they just have her be one-dimensional like a harpy. And like, no, she has some fucking trauma she's working out, and now she has to be like mentally linked to her ex-boyfriend who married her cousin when he was in love with Leah at the time, but then the cousin came around, he's like, I'm imprinted. And now you have to hang out with him every goddamn day and like see his thoughts. Like, I fucking get it, Leah. They did you fucking dirty. I'm glad you got a new wolf pack. This is part of the story where I start rewriting things in my own head, because this book could have been handled so much better with some tweaks. And here's the thing, okay? They make this big to-do about like Leah joining Jacob's pack, and like how they can deeply understand how shitty it is to not be with the one you're in love with. Also, you know, both of them are hot and young, and I was thinking maybe that was gonna grow into something more. Like, maybe he and Leah would get together and be like, man, fuck imprinting, we're gonna go be happy with each other. And I would have read that romance novel. That sounds really, really fun. So now there's a wolf pack and the Cullens. They're all gonna protect Bella and the baby. And Bella, every day she's doing worse and worse. She's like basically like a husk with a baby in it at this point. Basically, both of them are somehow starving, and they're like, I don't know how to make this work. And Jacob's like, it's a fucking vampire, baby. Give it blood. How did you not think of this? Y'all are vampires. So eventually they end up giving her like a sippy cup of blood. And Bella's like, oh, this is good. I like this now. So yay, Jacob saving the fucking day with common sense. And speaking of which, okay, Bella, the fucking horror show of her giving birth, like she is vomiting up fountains of blood. And like Edward has to give her a C-section with his fucking teeth. He just like bit into her belly. It's really fucking metal, dude. Like, it takes a quick turn to gross. And if that wasn't bad enough, they're gonna double down on it, because then we get the big scene. Jacob, he's really pissed. He thinks Bella died giving birth to his baby. He's like, I'm gonna go kill a baby today. So he goes downstairs, whoopsie daisy, looks at the baby, and he's like, oh, imprinted. That's my girl. I love this baby. And I think everyone in the world let out a collective ew. Like the whole thing is just problematic from start to finish, besides the whole fact imprinted on a baby. Like, think about it from Renesmee's perspective, because she basically has all of her free will taken away in this thing, because like Jacob is already imprinted on her when she was an infant, and then she's supposed to grow up with this guy in her life the whole time until like she's an adult. And then they're just supposed to be together romantically all of a sudden, which, by the way, that whole idea is also problematic. But this, the fact that she has no choice in the matter. She's like, well, I'm always gonna be with this guy. I can't ever experience anything for myself because it's all been predetermined. So like everything about this fucking situation handled poorly. And you know what? This is the other way I would rewrite this book, okay? If we didn't do the whole like Jacob and Leah getting together, maybe we would do it that Jacob like just wasn't even in this book. Maybe he did run off, and then like maybe he's like gone for like 10 years or something, okay? And then there's always gonna be some fucking thing happening that like the Cullens are in trouble, and then Jacob has to come back to like help Bella against the Volturi or something. And then he meets like Renesmee, who is an adult at that time because she grows super fast. And then he imprints, and then it makes fucking sense. Wouldn't that be a better fucking story? And also, they could have been another book, frankly. That would have been a spin-off after the end of this book. 10 years later, Jacob's come back and he gets with Renesmee. They could have even thrown in a fucking love triangle. It would have been chef's kiss for this series. And nope, they're gonna like, nope, you're gonna imprint on a baby, and we're gonna stick with that. But anyway, I'm too upset about the whole baby thing right now, and like, all of the implications it puts in, because like, how did no one see this being problematic? I mean, I guess it was 2009, but even then it was problematic. I need to go settle down because I am like all riled up about it. I cannot with this. But anyway, I'm like halfway through the book basically. So I'm going to come back tomorrow. I have all of book 3 to read. So I'll just knock it all out and just be done with it. So I will see you then. Oh, hello. I'm back again. It's day 2. I have to finish all of part 3 today. That is the goal. This is like half the book. And I did half the book yesterday, so I'm feeling confident that I could do it. But there is a lot of like buffoonery that's about to happen. I will check back in when I have thoughts, because I think I'm just going to have to read like a good chunk of this before I have anything of value to say. Okay. I decided alcohol was the way to go, and now I have alcohol flush in my face. But we're going to talk about what's been going on in this book. I didn't want this to be drunk classics, but it's a little drunk classics. Okay, so I'm about like 2/3 of the way through this book. And Bella, boom, she's a vampire now. It was kind of inevitable after she like had the horror show birth. Like, that was the only way to save her. And like, she has just remarkable self-control. That's like her big thing. And you know what? I think it's like a combination of just preparedness and stubbornness, because Bella is just stubborn as a mule. And also, she's a parentified child, so she's always been like an adult. And like, I don't know, there's a whole lot of stuff that makes it relatively easy for her to transition into being a vampire comparatively to a lot of other people. And then there's Renesmee. Okay, so Renesmee, her baby, right? Her little baby. Okay, so Renesmee's doing her baby thing. And she's like a super intelligent child. And like she could just like stick thoughts in people's heads. And so she just talks by like touching faces. And it reminded me of Face Off. Like, this is like the thing he does to like recognize his wife. I'm sure that's not the comparison that's supposed to be had, but that's what it feels like to me. And you know who else is here? Charlie. He's always trying to be a good dad, even though he's realistically not the best at it, but he tries real hard. Like, he's a little trooper, you know? And here's the thing, Charlie didn't know about like all of the supernatural creatures living in his town. But like Bella would have to leave eventually if he doesn't. So how's Charlie gonna find out about stuff? He can't find out about vampires, but Jacob is like, ooh, I could tell him about werewolves, and he can like just guess what's going on with Bella. And honestly, I wish this was a scene in Jacob's chapter where he was POV of him like taking Charlie out into the woods and just like getting naked, and Charlie's like, why is your dick out? And then he explodes into a wolf. Like, poor Charlie. Okay, he's having a doozy of a fucking day. And then he comes to see Bella, right? And Bella's like, I just became a vampire. I want to eat people real bad. Like, this is gonna suck. You know, unsurprisingly, she does very well because like no one's gonna write a scene where Bella eats her father. And Bella, you know, she's a vampire. She obviously has something different about her. And Charlie's like, you know, I don't want to know. I'm glad that you're healthy. Oh, there's a little baby that you've adopted. That is your biological child. Like, she has your eyes. I am a grandfather. Where did you get this baby? You told me you weren't pregnant before you got married. So, poor Charlie. He's really trying his darndest to, like, figure things out in a way that makes sense, but not enough sense because he doesn't really want to get involved. And, like, this whole Charlie thing is actually, like, the funniest parts of the book. Because it's Charlie, like, sitting on a couch in a vampire house. And he's just internally screaming, trying not to freak out. And then all the vampires and werewolves are like, oh, there's a human here. Act normal. And they're like, honey, this is as normal as we're gonna get. Like, there's no helping this. It's gonna be fucking weird, dude. All right. So I had to step in and just laugh for a minute because it's actually kind of funny. Like, the sheer absurdity of things is fun. I have like a good third of this book left. I'm gonna try to knock it all out. We'll see. I don't know. I'll just check back in when I have thoughts. We'll figure it out. Oh, hello. I am back. I read a good chunk. I'm not done yet, but I read a good chunk. I have like about 100 pages left. I'm so close. But I have thoughts, so I took a pause for a second. Because kind of immediately when I started reading again, like, the shit just hit the fan. The Cullens have cousins in Alaska, and one of them's named Irina, and she's still kind of, like, pissed off that, like, Laurent got killed by the wolves, but Laurent was, like, trying to eat Bella, but it's a whole thing. It's a whole fucking thing. And she sees Renesmee, and she's like, ooh, you're not supposed to make immortal children, because apparently, like, back in the day, vampires were making, like, toddlers into vampires, and then they would throw fucking temper tantrums and destroy villages. So Irina sees Renesmee, and she's like, I am going to tattle on you, because I am mad. So she runs off to the Volturi to go tell them, hey, the Cullens fucked around. They made an immortal child. You gotta do something about it. And, like, here's the thing. There's, like, 2 sayings that go around, which is snitches get stitches. And also, fuck around and find out. And, like, she's about to do both of those things. So now that Irina got all fucking mouthy to the Volturi, they're like, yes, we wanted, like, an excuse to go after the Cullens. So now, like, the whole fucking vampire government is gonna come to Forks to, like, kill the Cullens. Oh, do you want some more icing on this shit show cake? I'll give it to you. Jasper and Alice fucking bail. So everyone's like, oh no, things are gonna get really bad if Alice and Jasper fucking ditched us. Like, they saw some shit gonna go down. So everyone's like, okay, I don't know, let's all call our friends to come over and like maybe they could like help like the Volturian not massacre us all. Like, Carlisle is still kind of being like, hey, maybe I could talk to them. Like, we could talk it out. Bless your heart, you gentle doctor. Because like that's not how things work. Anyway, the Cullens still do have friends, and like a lot of them all come to Forks. They're from like all over the world essentially, and they all come and say like, hey, that's an immortal child. And they're like, nah, she's got a heartbeat and stuff, she's something else, she's our biological child. And they're like, oh, weird. But they're like, okay, like, we're cool, like, we know you didn't like break the law. I'm just gonna say it. Some of the descriptions that Stephenie Meyer is using for all of these international vampires is icky. I mean, reading in a 2024 perspective where I've grown and learned a lot in my life since 2009, I'm seeing different things, and oh my god, the way she describes like the vampires from the Amazon, the vampires from Egypt, like even the vampires from fucking Ireland, okay? Like any of them, it's just a sea of like the most stereotypical person from there. It's bleh. But besides all of that, the whole mood of the book right now is just kind of like a slow motion public execution, because like Bella, she has a history of putting herself into situations where she could be in danger, and now she's actually in one, and she is 100% sure she's not making it out. It's kind of different seeing her like actually know it for real, because before she's always just trying to help, and now she's like, there's nothing I can do to help. This is it for me. Curtains, everybody. Maybe I can save Renesmee and Jacob. So yeah, the mood has definitely been brought down. I have more wine to drink though, so I'm going to have some, and I will finish these last 100 pages and check in when this is finally complete. Oh my goodness, I did it. Okay, the book, I finished it. I read the whole thing. I did it in 2 days. I don't know how my life is like this either, guys. No one made me do this. And here I am, just making my brain into soup. It ends with the big showdown with the Volturi. They're all like coming to town, and they have their whole big to-do about like, oh, la la la, like trying to come up with reasons that they could like legally get away with for like annihilating the Cullens. Like, how we're going to spin this type of a situation. Luckily, like a lot of things come together, and like Bella can like use her mind ability to like shield other people. So they have like offensive or defensive like players involved, and then like Alice finally shows back up and stuff. So the Volturi end up leaving, albeit reluctantly, but everyone's like, okay, no one really has to die. No, I lied. They kill Irina. Like I said, snitches get stitches, and like, woo boy, I'm like, she didn't even get stitches. She just got like set on fire. And I gotta say, it is a bit of a letdown when you're gearing up for this whole big vampire fight, and you have these vampires with these cool abilities, and then like nothing. It's just they get in a field and they posture and they talk for a little bit, and then that's fucking it. And that's, you know what, at least in the movie, like they put in the fight scene, even though it's a like kind of a dream or whatever. It's like a possible future, so they just erase it all, but at least you got to see a fight. This one, there's no fight at all. We don't even get to pretend one. However, this is also like the first time I started noticing all the loose threads that like Stephenie Meyer was leaving in this book. Like, I think probably the biggest one, and this would have happened maybe if I had rewritten the story and Jacob wasn't even in it. So they find more like half vampire people, and one of them is like a grown-up man. He's like 100 or something, and his name is Nawel, and he's from like the Amazon. Here's the thing, the only other half vampires he knows, he is related to. They're like his sisters, and now he's like, oh, there's another half vampire lady who's not my sister? Tight. Like, maybe that could have been a thing, like 10 years later, Renesmee's an adult. there's Noel showing back up saying, hey, you want a date? And then like Jacob comes to town and he's like, oh no, I've imprinted on Bella's daughter. I want a date. And she's like, how will I choose? You know, it's a whole thing. Like that would have been a great fucking spinoff. And I'm so fucking mad we don't get that because it would have been good. Damn it. There are just so many like freaking werewolves and vampires like in the world of this series now. So they could have done so much. Like they could have done a whole spin-off series just about the wolves. However, you know what? I'm going to take this back because it's actually probably for the best that Stephenie Meyer didn't write a spin-off just about the werewolves because like, oh my God, is she bad at writing anybody from a different cultural background, and especially like indigenous people. Count my lucky stars she didn't do it. Then I'd have to read more of these things. My brain would just like slosh out of my ears, frankly. Anyway, I did it. I read the whole series. No one made me do this. Here I am doing this. It was kind of fun just rereading it as an adult. I did notice a lot of new things that I didn't know the first time. I also think differently about scenes that I used to like in the first time I read it. So overall, it was an experience, okay? Fine, I did it. My brain melted a bit, but like, who cares really, I guess. I don't know. There is technically like one more book, like Midnight Sun, which is all Edward's POV. And like, I don't know if I have it in me, guys. Like, anyway, you know what? Let me know in the comments down below. Do you want me to do Midnight Sun too? Just to really finish this off. Let me know in the comments. Anyway, if you like this video, make sure you give it a like. If you want to see more videos, make sure you subscribe. And if you want cool exclusive content, including early access to videos or a book club, you can consider becoming a channel member or a patron. Links for that are in the description down below. And on that note, I'll see you guys soon. Goodbye.